What's up everybody? So the 2016 4Runner has now been in the family for 4 days. So here is why we believe that the 4Runner is the best SUV. Starting off with comparing the 4Runner to its competition, we looked at the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Ford Explorer. When looking at the Explorer, it seemed that only the more top-of-the-line vehicles offered four-wheel drive and the towing package. And for those vehicles, the pricing was around $48,000 to $52,000. Which seemed pretty crazy. At that price you can get a Range Rover or a Porsche Macan. So didn't really seem wise to spend a crap load of money on a car that is in par with much more premium vehicles. And with the Explorer, it's a unibody construction on the Taurus frame. It's not even a truck. So that just wasn't at all what we were looking for, and honestly it seems like a waste of money. The other vehicle, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, was not bad. It seemed actually like a really good competitor. That one, the Laredo, was the first model to offer the four-wheel drive and the towing package, and that was like 32 grand, but we then had to add the GPS, which was about $1,000, and that vehicle did not have leather or sunroof. It was just, your basic cloth. And for that one, what we didn't like at all, the four-wheel drive system was more of an automatic four-wheel drive. It was like driving in four-wheel high. If it detected any slip, it would engage the front wheels and have four-wheel drive. So there wasn't a clear on-off switch, and then there was no four-wheel drive low. So we didn't really like that at all, and it seemed that the Limited Jeep was the next level up that did offer the terrain selectability, where you could then go between four-wheel, two-wheel, and four-wheel low. But that one jumped up the price quite a bit, and then you're looking at about $42,000. So the 4Runner seemed to be definitely the best priced, in the mid-30s, and even the base 4Runner, the SR5, you can get the tow package and four-wheel drive. So it did not seem wise to spend a lot more money on a vehicle that had pretty much the same features. So one of the things that we really like about the 4Runner is the different models. You start off with the SR5 model, two-wheel drive, cloth interior, and very easily you can add the options that you want. You don't have to just go for the next level up that has so many more options that you don't even need. Part of being the best SUV that you can buy is the customization. Like I said, with the SR5, it's your pretty basic vehicle, I think around $30,000, and you can add the four-wheel drive, add the towing package, and then for us we also have the premium package, which gets the leather seating with heated seats, the sunroof, the navigation. So that kind of stuff was nice to have, but we didn't really want to spend so much more just to get a few luxuries in the vehicle. So we like how with the 4Runner you really can pick out your exact model. You don't just have to jump up to a fully loaded model just to get the one extra option that you want. You really can customize it, and even the fully loaded either TRD Pro or the Limited 4Runner, which are around $44,000, those are fully loaded vehicles with every option you can think of, and they're still almost $10,000 cheaper than the Ford, with insane off-road capabilities compared to the Ford, and pretty much on par with the Jeep. So we definitely could not justify spending more money on those different vehicles when you could get exactly what you wanted for several $1,000s less. Another thing that makes the 4Runner the best SUV in my opinion is the looks of this. This is a really cool looking truck. The front end is a little different. Some people might not like it, but the more you look at it, it really does give the vehicle a rugged and unique look. The whole characteristic of the vehicle, it's more straight up looking, kind of boxy, and yet it still has nice curves in it. But the overall vehicle has a unique look. When you look at other SUVs in this price range, like the Ford and the Jeep, and even General Motors and Nissan, they're all kind of similar, your typical crossover SUV style of vehicle. So while they do look different, they all have very similar characteristics. And then looking at the premium SUVs like Range Rovers and Porsches, those all look special. I mean, the Range Rover, in my opinion, is one of the coolest looking SUVs. It's very unique with just the shapes it has. It's not a typical looking SUV, and I think for this price category in your normal brand of vehicles, the 4Runner also has the win for the looks, just because it's something special to look at. It's not your typical, boring SUV. The front end is aggressive, the rear end looks very clean, and the overall just look of it is a rugged vehicle, and it looks super cool, and we really like it. And the rugged look carries on to the rugged capabilities. This is one of the few SUVs remaining that is body on frame. This has a truck frame underneath, just like a Tacoma, and it's a very rugged vehicle. The Jeep also does have a frame. It's borrowed over from Mercedes, while all the other SUVs in this category are using some type of unibody construction. Like I said, the Ford is on the Taurus unibody, so it's not really rugged underneath. And then for off-roading, the body on frame also gives it a very rugged feel. You know, most trucks and the Jeep Wrangler, which are good off-roaders, are body on frame constructions. So having this with the same type of construction means that this is going to be a really good off-roader. And having a solid rear axle, it's pretty easy to lift the rear end of the vehicle. It's not independent suspension like a lot of the other SUVs. And that also gives the vehicle a lot of ground clearance. When we looked at the Ford, it had about that much ground clearance, which definitely is not going to work for what we do. The 4Runner, on the other hand, plenty of ground clearance, and with the bumpers, low overhangs, you have really good approach and depart angles when hitting the trails. So the overall rugged aspect of the vehicle, since it is body on frame, is something very critical when picking a awesome SUV, and with the 4Runner, you get that. So when we bought this 2016, we traded in our 2007 4Runner, and like I said, we looked at the competition, but just like back in 2008 when we bought that vehicle, the 4Runner has come out on top, and in our opinions is the best SUV. They're great pricing, you know, starting around the $30,000 range, getting up to the mid-40s, and you really can customize the vehicle to get exactly what you want. You can get a real four-wheel drive system even in your base model in the low $30,000 range. You don't need to get all the way up to fully loaded models like the Ford and the Jeep just to get the one, you know, four-wheel drive system that you want. So you really can get everything you want in your vehicle, and being a Toyota, it's extremely reliable. We've had no issues with the 07. It still has plenty of life left into it, and I'm sure the next owner will enjoy it for a long time. And overall with a Toyota, you're just getting a quality product. I mean, the 4Runner just looks great. It's got the rugged aspects that you want and all the characteristics that you'll ever need in a great SUV. So there you go, everybody. Those are a few reasons why I believe the Toyota 4Runner is the best SUV, at least in this price range. I think it's really on par with a Range Rover, just at a more affordable price range. You got the looks, you got the reliability, the toughness. What more can you ask for? So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. We'll see you all next video.